really, when you reach this age, you can't, you understand that it is such a short time. And where did the time go? I mean, it is really, life goes by so fast. Okay, I am Ginny Riggs,
Oh my gosh,
still with the same wonderful person for
70 years.
70 years. And we still like each other.
70 and a half.
Age is not important, but I'm just had my 90th birthday in September.
Uh,
And no celebration. I wanted to go. I said that was the one birthday I really wanted to celebrate. And the thing I wanted to do the longboats in London. I think that would be really cool. So maybe if my 100th I'm around, and I will invite you to go and we'll do the longboats in London.
I'm Joe Riggs, and I'm 92, and didn't expect it, but I'm delighted. Uh, and I'm going to get on the short boats on the Mississippi.
I mean, I've always thought of age as an attitude rather than, oh my goodness, you're 50 years old, you're 40 years old. But I've never really thought about celebrating the years because the moments, the moments are important. The thing I think we like more, and we share this, right, is our love of travel and meeting new people. We've driven around Europe in a car and just started driving, not knowing where we were going to stay. Um, and we've driven across America. We've driven across this country a few times too, with the same way. I mean, not having any planned, holiday and stop, but just taking back roads, seeing the world in back roads, and not ever being afraid to try new things. And I think that's the thing that's been the most important for me. I mean, of course, having friends of all ages. And I think those are important, certainly to all people in aging. Most people understand that, but you don't have people the same age. Some people say, well, all my friends are dead. That's because you don't have any younger friends.
Right.
Yeah. But we always had friends, of course, that were much older and much younger than we were.
So let's say the past 20 years, what has your diet looked like?
Well, I eat to live rather than live to eat. Joe likes sugar, and he seems like he can eat most anything, but I mean, I've always watched my diet. Not only did I eat right, but exercised. I mean, we were in exercise class 5 days a week. Actually, when I was 70 years old, I started teaching an exercise class, Silver Sneakers, which was lots of fun, especially fun when there were people that were a lot younger than me that found it to be very competitive for them. And I enjoyed that. I'm sorry to say, hey, please. Going for new experiences, not being afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Always be willing to, but don't think about fear. So many people are so fearful. We know people that barely leave their hometown all their lives. And I mean, I think that's so sad. Because there's so much. I mean, and this world really is so small when you really think about it. It's just, I mean, what is there to be afraid of? And I truly believe that the only reason we're here is just to learn to love each other, and love is really all we are. And if we can, just stay in that spot. So I've always tried to. I mean, that that's that's my place that I want to be always, in a very loving place. I have good friends that I totally disagree with in many aspects, especially this past year. But I grew up very poor. I mean, as far as having material things, And I went to a terrible elementary school. But my mother taught me to read before I started school. She taught me to read when I was about 4 years old. And I read everything that was in sight. I mean, books have been my thing that's really helped me survive all this time. Exercise, joy, and fearlessness.
My phrase is unconscious imitation. We have run with some of the best people in the world over and over and over again over the last 90 years. I'm 92. And from some of those incredible folks, we have borrowed something. Now, there's no way to itemize what we borrowed from whom. I was the lead officer in desegregating an Air Force base, and I was so proud of that. Uh, that's what John Kennedy brought on when he became president. Immediately, he desegregated all of the units he had any control over. That's a lot of people. The people we didn't have control over were the National Guards. So,
I also worked in the civil rights movement. I helped desegregate restaurants because Black people could not go to restaurants, and so a group of women. There were probably about 7 of us that started this. We called it the Saturday Luncheon Group, and I was one that always insisted that the name of it stay the Saturday Luncheon Group rather than an integrated luncheon group or any of that. And we would call up. We would take turns being hostess. And we would go to this restaurant, to the better restaurants in the city. Sometimes I remember one time that I called, and this restaurant was really a nice restaurant. And he said, "Will everyone be dressed properly?" I could not believe that he said this, but it was very sad that so much misunderstanding that, because I always thought of it as being civil rights, rather than, human rights rather than just civil rights, because you were working with all aspects. I also marched with the garbage workers.
Two white girls with the garbage workers.
One other woman and I.
Scared me to pieces. Well, I didn't know she had gone downtown to do that. It was in Memphis after the killing.
Well, that's all part of being unafraid.
We did a police brutality investigation, and what we did was we got a judge, an American Indian judge out of Oklahoma, and he came and sat in on all of these 18 hours of testimony from people who had been beaten by the Memphis police. And I was on the committee that put all that together, and we're extremely proud of that. I've put together a list of the people over the last 90 years who have been extraordinary and who have taught us something about manners and about commitment and about all that stuff. And I call it my Hall of Fame. And now I'm writing a piece about each of those couples, who are a whole slew of them, was men and wife teams. And that list starts from kindergarten clear through to right now. I'd like to say that our 4 sons are terrific men. And we hope that some of their behavior came from us by way of imitation. I'm not sure about that. But these are guys they are givers. They are not takers. They are nonviolent. They don't hurt people. And we are so proud of them. And they're old guys now. They're all in their 60s. But one of them, he's still in the late 50s. Anyhow, they're the pride and joy of our world. And those are the granddaughters and they're the sisters, the daughters-in-law. We have got a dynamite family. The other one,
we had the 4 sons, and then we had all these granddaughters.
The other thing is the support group we've had. Our doctors are magnificent, and we've had some of them 25, 30 years, and over that period of time, they become extraordinary friends and you become pals. We did not suffer from jealousy or envy. There are some modern behaviors that we just didn't do. Uh, and we were around a lot of people that one would think of and be envious about because of their talent and their gifts. But we were never, we just admired them and spent time with them and worked with them.
Well, I think the important thing too to know that, you know, especially in our relationship, and we are, God, so thankful that we are here together at this point because we help each other remember things. But it, the important thing is that we have, when we did go through those bad times, that we did respect the other person and knew when to back off and to be quiet and to knew when to talk. And we would always end up talking things out. My mother used to always say, you can always find something nice about everybody. And they were talking about this one woman that had really, her face wasn't the most beautiful face in the world. And they would say, well, what about her? And mom says she has absolutely beautiful hands. You know, to look for whether people, whether you disagree with or not. You know, and there are some people we disagree with, but are still friends, and you can still find something really, really good about them.
Well, thank you both so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Phoebe.
Take care.